Okay, so here we go. I'm still talking and working with flooding myself. And so that's the theme, but I have to find the words for some of this because I'm working through it actively right now. So what occurred to me as I've worked through this myself, one of my biggest understandings has been the thing is not the thing, which means that when I'm activated by something that's in front of me, it's likely not really the source of activation. It's touching on something that was set up before, because some of these very basic patterns are from a time when we were very young, didn't have any authority for our circumstances, or our life was pretty much based on what our caretakers were doing. So with lack of safety or different circumstances that were happening is when a lot of these form. So things not the thing helps me remember that I can be super activated by what's in front of me. And I'm also realizing today, or this week, this month, that I'm leaving out the thing is in front of you is still something, not discounting that there may be something that needs resolution also, but the severity of our response is likely the stacking of the nervous system experience. So I just share that because in this most recent experience I'm having, it's been tied to other people's nervous systems. And so that makes things really complex. But what it's helped me realize is that this is where arguments and disconnection and deterioration of friendships, relationships get super sticky, because if we're both activated for our own reasons, possibly and maybe usually, I don't know, not related to the same activation, but we're pinging off each other, and therefore neither of us can function. And not by choice, not because we're being stubborn or horrible or malicious. Malicious suggests it's intentional. And while we're behaving out of our response to our nervous system, which can be, whatever age or whatever circumstance that is, it can seem maybe either immature or just feel horrible when you're on the other side of that. It's not something that is driven out of who you are right now. And I want to keep remembering that. And I want to remind you of that, because I need to remember that. Because now I have just a little bit of space. I was able to self-facilitate this morning as I woke up to another day of, I can't do this again today. And just finding the space in my body and breathing into it. I didn't get all the way to the other side. I fell asleep, which happens. But there's just enough space created that I have a little bit of ability to process and a little bit of relief and clarity, which then would invite some of that, like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have, or why couldn't I have, and shaming and all the things. But that's not available. So I guess what I'm processing right now with you is the realization and the complexity that happens when it's the only person who can help facilitate or resolve the conflict, the disagreement, the disconnection, is also activated in operating out of past events. Then, whoa, if we're not careful, it becomes destructive. And if we're unaware of what's happening, like, this isn't about the thing. This isn't even about the relationship. This is about the nervous system can't calm down. The nervous system can't get to a place where it can have a little bit of safety unless we know how to work with it. And that's where the B.L.U.E method comes in. And I know this cognitively. I know this in a good amount of my body. I've been practicing. And I haven't been this stuck in a long time, because my body's been able to work through this stuff automatically in the smaller activations and in different circumstances, right? So this particular circumstance where I'm locked in a dynamic with a really important friendship, and both of us are really experiencing our own nervous system response to it. I just woke up recognizing that we need to give it the attention it deserves and come to it from a different place. Finding first, what do we know about activation? We know that we can interrupt this looping that each of us are in through awareness of the breath and just calming the system down. So if we can each find that place within us to bring the nervous system down and get just a little bit of space, I think we'll see if the nervous system, again, it's not a choice as to whether or when the nervous system jumps in and on our behalf. It's so helpful. But I think with this understanding today and the possibility that exists when we recognize more about what's real, less about reaction, we can take a little bit of a chunk out of it. If not, work through a little bit more, because we can get that next chunk. We can start to bring it down to a place where we can have a really great conversation and learning experience out of it, because she's somebody that I dearly love and respect and would never want to lose at any level. But when we have this level of activation with one another, we deteriorate trust. And guess what? When we're not in a trusting situation, the nervous system is where we operate from. It's just the way it works. It's amazing, and it's hard all at the same time. So you've got to reestablish trust in order to get a foothold, in order to get your feet underneath you and take the next step. So we got to breathe. We got to find where that is in our body. For me, in the heart, in the lungs, the grief and the trust and the betrayal I've experienced before is too big for me to handle all at once. And I laugh about the light switch, but we all want it. So when it's this big, I'm reminding me right now, when it's this big, we have to interrupt, we have to take it in pieces, and we have to get the support we need. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else to add. So once we can get even just a little bit of space, we can then access the sensation of the body and find where that old energy is stuck, where we're constricted, contorted, and holding that in place. And just hang out there. And I'll tell you, I took about this much out of it today, and it gave me a lot more than that back. And I'm able to sit here and talk to you about it. So if you're having that, again, it's going to be constant flooding and looping as you tumble through something that intense. So that's what I have today. And wow, when you're all tangled up, and we are, it's life, we're tangled up with other people, and they're doing their best to navigate it as well. So compassion, love, and more importantly, remembering that sometimes when we show up in the state, it's not about who we are now. To what we've endured in that previous version of us is really acting out what they needed to do, or from that place they needed support. And so we blew it. And then, while we'll never erase the circumstances of our life, we take out the activation, we take the tripwire out. And then it's wisdom. Then we're helping other people when we see them going through what we're going through right now. So hang in there if you're going through this. And if you need any support, we're out here. It sure is easier from the outside, I'll tell you what, when it's not our own stuff. It's so much easier because our nervous system isn't in the way. All right, more to follow. Have a wonderful day.